You need soldiers to fight titans eating your species alive? Send children. You need sorcerers to fight curses born from human hatred? Children. You need heroes to stand between the public and terrorists who can level a city block? Recruit children.
Once again, why do we have children in this meeting? I'll say this one time. We're wondering if this Chisaki bastard is turning his daughter's body into bullets and selling them on the black market.
No.
Oh, don't tell me.
Anime does this so often you stop noticing it. A 15-year-old gets handed a weapon, a war, and the fate of the world, and we all just go, yeah, sounds about right. But here's the part that should actually bother you. Check who's watching, because it's not 15-year-olds. It's you, grown adults. Most of the people watching this are in their 20s and 30s. I know because I can see the numbers even from my YouTube videos. Adults sitting down to watch stories about children going to war. So, what is that? Why is the entire medium fixated on teenagers? Now, you've already got an answer in your head, and I'll give it to you so we can move past it. The easy version goes like this. Most of these stories start in magazines like Weekly Shonen Jump, which are aimed straight at teenagers. So the heroes are teenagers because the customers are teenagers. Simple. And schools are free real estate. You want a setting with built-in drama, rivalries, a schedule, 100 characters bumping into each other every day. High school hands you all of that without building a single thing. Exams, festivals, clubs, and teenagers are bendy, emotional, They're still figuring out who they are, so you can throw any amount of trauma growth and bad decisions at them, and it just fits. They're a vessel you can pour anything into. All true, all correct, and also that's the answer every single video on this topic gives you, and it explains almost nothing about why you, a functioning adult, are emotionally invested in a child with a sword. So let's actually dig. Osamu Tezuka, the godfather of manga, in 1952 he makes a manga called Astro Boy. In 1963 he turns it into Japan's very first weekly animated TV show. And his lead is a little robot kid. Big eyes, tiny body, enormous feelings. Those eyes, by the way, he got them from Disney. Watched Bambi, watched Mickey, and realized huge expressive eyes let you punch someone in the heart without a single word of dialogue. And since everyone back then agreed cartoons were strictly for children, a young lead wasn't a choice, it was just the default. That was the factory setting. So it started as an accident of marketing. Kids medium, so kid hero. Fine, but that doesn't explain how he got from a cute robot boy to a teenager being told to commit genocide to save his people.
Murderers. Psychotic mass murderers who snuffed out the lives of countless people that never did you any wrong. Don't you think I'm aware of that fact? I don't need you shoving it down my goddamn throat! Then stop acting like you've got any right to feel sorry for yourself! We're living in a hell you two created!
Something happened in between. The kid protagonist didn't just survive, it mutated. And to get why, you had to look at what being an adult actually means in Japan. There's a word in Japanese called shakaijin. Butchered that. It literally translates to society person. It's what you become when you grow up and enter the workforce. And becoming a shakaijin is not exactly a party. It means long hours, rigid hierarchy, falling in line, conformity as a lifestyle. The culture treats adulthood at the moment your personal freedom quietly ends and your obligations begin, which makes adolescence something sacred. It's framed as the last window, the final stretch of your life where you're free, where things are intense, where your friendships feel like life or death, and your choices are actually yours. So sit with what that means for storytelling. A big reason adults love this stuff isn't complicated. It's escape, a chance to slip back into the one part of the life that felt like it mattered before the timesheets. But I think it goes deeper than nostalgia. I think the teenager isn't the point of these stories at all. The teenager is the loophole. Think about it. Who is actually allowed to drop everything, pick a sword, and go die for something they believe in? Not the salary man, not the mom with a mortgage, Story physically cannot put them in the cockpit. The second a responsible adult should logically fix the problem, the fantasy breaks. So anime reaches for the one person who can still say yes to everything, young enough to have the freedom, old enough to pull the trigger. The teenager isn't who the story is about, the teenager is the only character who the author is allowed to make free. That's a nice theory, but plenty of the best anime are about adults and people worship them. Spike from Cowboy Bebop, Vash, Roy Mustang, the entire Silent Shelf. If the teenager's really the magic loophole, why does the medium keep pumping out adult masterpieces? Because they're masterpieces, that's the whole point. Notice what you did there. You didn't name random shows, you reached for the prestige shelf. The ones people call mature, elevated, the stuff you recommend to a friend who says they don't watch anime. And that's the tell. When anime is right and adult, it's treated as an achievement, a flex, something the medium had to level up to do. Nobody calls a teenage protagonist brave storytelling. It's just Tuesday, it's the default setting. The water the whole medium swims in. So you haven't disproven the loophole, you've shown me the exceptions and pointed out that we build shrines to them. You don't get a shelf of celebrated exceptions unless there's an overwhelming default. Think about it this way. If I told you a country's national dish and you said, well, some of their best restaurants serve French food, you're not proving me wrong. You're proving the national dish is so common that cooking something else, well, is what earns a Michelin star. The teenager is the national dish. Spike is the Michelin star. Both things are true, and the second one only means anything because the first one is everywhere. I walked into that, didn't I? Face first, and if you need one more nail in it, Kaiju number 8. Kafka Hibuno works precisely because he's breaking the rule everyone in the audience already knows. The entire emotional engine of that show is the gap between him and the teenagers around him. If the teenage protagonist weren't the ingrained default, Kafka wouldn't be unique or anything. It'd just be another typical anime half-breed. His whole story only lands because he's playing against a template you're absorbed so deeply. You feel his lateness in your gut, like this guy took a while to reach here. You can't tell the story of the man who's too old for this in a medium where his age was normal.
美のカフカいや怪獣8号
Western animation mostly split into two boxes. Little kid stuff, your Disney, your Pixar, or adult comedy, your Simpsons, your Family Guy. There wasn't much in the middle ground up until recently, you know. It's only recently we started to see Western animation kind of blend the two together. But anime walked straight into that gap. It told stories about death, politics, philosophy, war, and wrapped them in a teenager, which made them feel accessible instead of homework. High stakes in a package that goes down easy. And you can watch the exact preference show up outside anime too. Look at Japan and Spider-Man. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man filmed each outgrossed Avengers Endgame in Japan. Look it up. A market where the Marvel machine otherwise kind of struggles, and the going theory is simple. Japanese audience connect with a young, ordinary, relatable lead, more than a squad of mid-30 millionaires in armor. Peter Parker's just a kid with money problems and homework. That's the anime protagonist template wearing a different mask. For the adult watching, it all folds back into one thing: nostalgia, a ticket back to when life felt wide open and your decisions actually counted for something. Oh, and one more symptom, because there's one genuinely unhinged thing that is very anime based, and that is the all-powerful student council. You know the trope. A group of teenagers who don't organize the bake sale. They run the school like a totalitarian government. These people put my own government to shame. Revolutionary Girl Utena, back in '97, turned the student council into a sword-dueling secret society, fighting for the power to revolutionize the world. After that, the gloves came off. Code Geass with Lelouch running a rebellion by night and student duties by day. Kill la Kill, with a council president ruling like a dictator with an actual army. Kakegurui, where they run the whole school like a gambling cartel and sell defaulters into basically slavery. Same engine as everything else. Get the adults out of the room, hand the teenagers the power. Watch what happens. So come back to where we started. You, not 15, still watching. And I don't think it's really about the swords or the titans or the curses. I think it's about the one thing every one of these teenagers has that you had to hand in at the door of adulthood. They're allowed to want everything, risk everything, believe it all matters, no conformity, no hierarchy, no timesheet. Just a kid convinced the world is worth fighting for, and young enough to actually go do it. Anime isn't obsessed with teenagers, it's obsessed with the freedom you traded away to become a functioning adult. So here's my question. When you watch a 15-year-old throw their whole self at something, what did you give up that they still have? And go watch The Half-Breed Boy. Anime's got a whole list of things it does and won't admit to. He's just getting started.
We need some sort of signal to know when it's time to dip.
Low key.